everyone and welcome to this week's Sam versus Lee. Let's start as always by having a look at how game week 25 went in terms of our pick. So if you remember back, our theme for last week was international teammates. So players from the same international side.
Nice, enjoyed researching that one.
You did,
that was a good
didn't
one.
you?
It's a lot of fun with that, yeah.
So we went for kind of Brazil versus Scotland.
The Samba Boys versus the Highland Fling.
Yeah, very interesting kind of division of the way that we chose to go. Yeah, absolutely.
Like yeah.
Okay, so let's start with Brazil then.
Go on.
Alisson, yet again returning for me in goal, was great for me in double game week 24. Again, this time around with 8 points in the Liverpool goal. So
Saints could have maybe had something from that game. I thought they played really well against Liverpool. So, but the defence, Liverpool just... I don't know what it is about us. Just keep teams out, don't we?
Absolutely.
Ticks them over.
So really happy with Alisson. He did really well. The other two Brazilians, not so much flair from them this time around. Just the 1 point from Willian and just 2 from Martinelli. So a bit disappointing with them. Gave me 11 in total. Bit average, to be honest.
Brave shout going for Martinelli, but it's interesting that he kept his place. And actually, Pepe lost out for Arsenal, which was kind of interesting. He went with Martinelli, Lacazette up top, and Aubameyang come back into the team. So Martinelli... super cheap in FPL, so keep an eye on him if he's going to keep his place.
Yeah, I mean, on a different game week, they could have done well, Willian and Martinelli, but we are where we are.
Not to be. Go on then, talk us through the Scots. Come on, the Scots.
Up to mighty Scotland then. So, as always, like with my Alisson pick, Robertson with the clean sheet at the back. You nice
covered each other there, didn't we, basically?
Yeah, apart from the 2 baps for Alisson.
Yeah, okay, but more or less covered, yeah.
And then I'm going to absolutely give you this one because he did bits for me in my actual FPL team as well. But the mighty Snodgrass.
Did you see the 2 goals, though? 2 massive deflections. Yeah. Anyone that had Snodgrass, including you in FPL... jammy as anything, honestly.
The rank rise that man has given me this week.
Yeah, good on it.
I don't mind.
Nice, yeah, very nice.
18 points for Snodgrass.
I'll take the Sam versus Lee win.
18 points.
I'll take the win.
And then your guy that you were shouting about all week, Ollie McBurney, didn't do a lot this time around.
Give him time.
I still think he's a great pick.
Give him time, Ollie. Yeah, give him time.
So that gave you 26 points. So you absolutely smashed it with Scotland this time around.
Thank you, Robert Snodgrass.
Absolutely.
It's all about Snodgrass. The other 2 were rubbish.
It was all about Snodgrass. So, in total then, 5.5 still to me. 3... you were on 3.5, you're now on 4.5.
Oh, I thought you were going to do me out of a point there. Okay.
No. So, 1 point, back to 1 point in it now.
All right, okay.
So,
at least this is competitive because FPL, with your overall rank right now, is not competitive. So at least this is competitive. I'll take it.
And actually, we're really enjoying pulling the themes out of a hat. It's proving really interesting because it's giving us something to think about. So if you didn't catch our Insta stories on Saturday over on the FF Scout Instagram, Lee, the theme for this week...
courtesy of Alexander Kavamli. So, Alexander, thank you for your comment in the last video. Players who have been at their clubs for more than 3 seasons. Now, we had a look at this, and I did, again, something I really enjoyed researching.
Yeah, Lee's loving it.
Very geeky with stats. I did have a look at this. There is loads of players that have been at their clubs over 3 seasons.
Surprising number, actually.
And surprising number. So, Alexander, it's a really great theme. We thought we'd ratchet it up and make it even harder. So what we're going to do is have a look at players that are in certain brackets of tenure at club. So we are going to look at 3 to 5 years as our first bracket, 5 to 7 years as our next bracket, and then 7+ as the real veterans, players that have been around at their clubs, the real loyal 7+ year stints. These are the proper like Stevie G one-man club guys. So here's a bit of, I love researching this. So Alexander, thank you for this. The player that's been at his club the longest in the Premier League, who do you think? I'll give you a clue. As soon as I tell you the club, you'll get it. West Ham.
Mark
Noble has been at West Ham 16 years and a month, by the way, Mark Noble.
16 years?
16 years, love it. So he's number 1. Number 2 and 3 from the same club, Everton.
Seamus Coleman.
Coleman is one, and he's in at 3rd at 11 years and a month. And just above him, Leighton Baines in at 12 years and 5 months. So it's Noble, Baines, Coleman. Then it's Kevin Long from Burnley. I wouldn't expect you to get that one. Lewis Dunk from Brighton in at 9 years. David Silva, 9 years and 6 months. Winston Reid, 9 years and 5 months. Here's one you'll know. Matt Doherty, the right back at Wolves, 9 years and 5 months. Who's in at number 9? Spurs.
He's one of our own.
Harry Kane in at 9 years and a month, and then David De Gea. Feels like just the other day United bought him. That's me getting old. 8 years and 7 months for David De Gea. So there's the top 10.
I can't pick Harry Kane because he's injured.
Well, there you go. He would have been in the top 10. He could have been in your 7+ bracket.
He would have absolutely been my loyal legend, wouldn't he?
So there we go. Those we're going to pick in those 3 brackets. And of course, in typical Sam versus Lee style, defender, midfielder, forward.
Of course.
Can't mix it up. Got to have a defender, midfielder, forward.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got to be in those 3 brackets. So let's start with the... what I would suggest is perhaps the easier one and build up to the veterans. So in the easier bracket, the 3 to 5 year bracket, who are you gone for?
Well, I'm going with a man who has...
It's a good start.
I am going with a man who is right up there with being responsible for my current overall rank. A man...
Not Robert Snodgrass.
No. A man that in the double game week was a pure Scouse legend.
Oh, go on, yeah.
Go on. Bobby Firmino.
Yeah, nice.
So
okay,
Bobby
good.
Firmino has been at Liverpool for 4 years and 7 months.
Is he really? Goodness me, okay.
Yes. Plays Norwich in game week 26.
Yes, top versus bottom.
Yeah. Away from home, where we all know that Firmino flourishes. 10 goals this season, 10 away goals.
Still no goals at home. 3 assists at the weekend in the last game week. Still no goal. It's ridiculous.
So my new boy, shall we call him a new boy to Liverpool? I mean, I'm not sure that 4 years and 7 months really counts as a new boy.
He's in the lowest bracket, so
he's our newest.
Call it that if you want.
I'll give you Firmino. So he's also obviously going to take my striker position for this week.
All right. Well, if you're going to take a Liverpool player, I'm going to take a Spurs player, and I'm going to go for Heung-min Son. 4 years and 5 months at Spurs, right?
That was like yesterday.
Not quite on Harry Kane levels, but he's up there, Heung-min Son. 4 years and 5 months now.
Remember him coming though.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Now we recording this shortly after the Man City and Spurs game. How Spurs got anything out of that game was incredible. Never mind a 2-0 win, but nevertheless, Son on the score sheet. And actually, with that creativity that's now around him, I'm very impressed by Steven Bergwijn, the new signing. Literally been there a couple of days, and he's banged in a belter against the current champions.
Can't have him though, he's out of the bracket.
Can't have him, we haven't got a 2 days bracket have we, for Steve Bergwijn, but he did look very good. I was also impressed with the creativity in the centre of midfield, Harry Winks, and in particular Giovanni Lo Celso. So I think Spurs and Mourinho just starting to get their act together a little bit in that sort of final third. And of course, if anyone's going to benefit from that, it's going to be Heung-min Son, I think. So away at Aston Villa as well. Aston Villa, despite the exploits of Grealish, despite the fact that we all love and respect Jack Grealish in our teams right now, some of us wavering on Jack Grealish a little bit potentially, with the blank coming up too in game week 28. Nevertheless, Aston Villa do look defensively a little bit suspect, and I think Spurs can go to Villa Park and get something. I've no doubt about that. So Heung-min Son takes my... we can't call it new boys bracket, but the 3 to 5 year bracket, I'm going to use my midfield slot, and it's Son Heung-min. So who are you going for in your 5 to 7 year bracket? It's not what can't
the
call it new
crisis.
Boys. The midlife crisis bracket, 5 to 7 years. Who are you going for?
Okay, so I'm going to the South Coast for this,
right.
and Southampton, and one of their defenders. They're playing Burnley at home this week, so nice fixture for the defence. And Ryan Bertrand as my kind of pick. He has been at Southampton for exactly 5 years.
Very good, yeah.
So it must have been signed in a January transfer window.
Okay, so 5 to 7. Okay, so he sneaks into your bracket. Right, okay.
Just crept in.
Sneaks in, okay.
Just crept in by the skin of his teeth. Yeah, I think Southampton have looked really good defensively of late. I know that in game week 25 they had that kind of disappointing result against Liverpool, but let's be frank, it's Liverpool, away at Liverpool, the hardest game you're going to play.
Yeah, and actually, as we said before, played pretty well.
And they played
right?
well. Yeah. So I think that there is definite scope there for clean sheet, particularly against Burnley, who haven't necessarily been on fire when it comes to scoring of late. A couple of goals against Manchester United back in game week 24, but they're 0-0 draw this weekend, not exactly setting the world on fire.
A couple of clean sheets back to back. Maybe they've turned a new leaf. Maybe defensively, I don't know. They were whipping boys a few weeks back. Maybe Sean Dyche has stumbled across a formula that works for him. I don't know. The likes of Charlie Taylor, etc., doing reasonably well.
I've only got to get Bertrand to get me a clean sheet out of it. So if it can end up as a 0-0 draw, that'll be okay.
All right. Well, listen, I'm going with you actually. And this is, we've not rehearsed this, but I am going Saints defence as well. I do think the Saints defence looks good against that Burnley side. And actually, if you look at the Southampton fixtures over the next 4 or 5 game weeks,
we didn't pick the same one.
Yeah, so I haven't gone Bertrand actually, interestingly, but if you look at the Saints fixtures over the next 4 to 5, and those of you that are Fantasy Football Scout members can check out the ticker on the homepage, you can sort it by fixture difficulty. Saints are right up there in terms of nice fixtures for the next 4 to 5. So if you've got Alex McCarthy, if you've got Ryan Bertrand, or if you've got my pick in the 5 to 7 bracket, Jack Stevens in at 4.4, I think you're looking all right for the next 4 to 5 weeks. Like I say, 4.4 in FPL, super, super cheap. I think he's got something like 3 double-digit hauls in his last 8 appearances, which has kind of gone under the radar a little bit. But when I looked into it, what he's particularly good at is that kind of Toby Alderweireld style long pass. He likes to hit that long diagonal pass. And you know what Ings is like in terms of finding space between the lines and playing off the shoulder of that defender.
Yeah.
So actually, I like Jack Stevens not just for a clean sheet against Burnley, but with a little bit of assist potential as well if they're going to go a little bit longer. So I'm going to go Jack Stevens in the middle, fixture-wise mainly, because I like the look of Southampton, not just this week, but going forward.
Interesting that we've both picked our defender in that bracket as well. So that's our defenders.
There you go.
Okay, so then in my veterans brigade, so our player
this
over...
is the 7+ year bracket.
Over 7 years of loyal service.
Very rare nowadays. Very rare.
Oh, it is very rare. 7 years and 7 months worth of loyal service, to be exact.
Another one you've just squeaked in, but okay, all right.
Again at Southampton. So 7 years.
Whoa.
No, there's no rule about that this week. No, don't start.
I'll have 2 from the same club.
There's not. Is that a rule? Did he say that?
Saints are at home to Burnley. We've just picked 3 Saints then.
Did he say on the thing that I couldn't have 2 players from the same club?
Not sure about this.
It wasn't a rule. If you don't like the rules, make it really specific in the comments.
There you go, Alexander. Next time in the comments, really specific.
Well, I don't think that there's an issue here.
Go on. No,
so 7 years.
I've got a big issue with this.
7 months. James Ward-Prowse on set pieces for Southampton versus Burnley. The boy's going to do bits.
Sure about this. I would like the comments actually, not just comments in this video about what you want to see for next time, but comments. Is this allowed?
Doesn't say that I can't.
Go on then, James Ward-Prowse.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
So 7 years, 7 months. Playing Burnley, as we've said, at home. Southampton have looked good. They've scored a lot of goals of late. Okay. They will get set pieces. James Ward-Prowse will be on them. I can see there being set piece returns for him against Burnley this weekend.
All right.
During the winter break.
So before I go to my forward, because my forward is going to smash your 3 picks out of the park, remind us of your 3.
Roberto Firmino. Legend.
Yeah.
James Ward-Prowse.
Yeah.
Legend. And Bertrand. Also.
So, in a game week where Man City are home to West Ham, you've got no Man City players.
No, I haven't, because I've got Firmino, who scored 10 goals so far away from home this season.
I'm willing to bet. Get in the comments below if you think this is an FYI. At me when it happens. Sergio Aguero, who has been at Manchester City...
To be rotated and rested.
He's been at Man City for 8 years and 6 months. He is a veteran. He's been there way over 7 months. Never mind squeaking into the age bracket. 8 years and 6 months Aguero's been at Man City. He is going to put West Ham to the sword. Comical defending from West Ham in the previous game against Brighton. We know how bad Brighton's away form is, right? Yet they rock up to the London Stadium and West Ham gift them 3 goals with some absolutely comical defending. If they don't sort that out, Aguero and co are absolutely going to take them to the cleaners, and I expect Sergio to do very well. I'm going to go out and say Aguero is going to beat your 3.
Do you not think that there is a really good chance? Because I looked at Aguero and then ruled him out on the basis that...
That way you didn't pick him?
Yeah, on the basis that there is a really good chance that after the winter break they have the Champions League and he might just want to give him a nice couple of weeks rest.
He'll be fine, Sam. Don't you worry. That's Pep roulette. You've got Pep in your head. Aguero's going to put West Ham to the sword. 8 years, 6 months. He's one of the FPL royalty. I don't need to say any more about his underlying stats or anything. Should have had a hatful at Spurs. Should have taken the penalty. Not sure why Gundogan was taking it. Should have taken it. So there we go. Sergio Aguero. So those are my 3. I'm going to go with Heung-min Son, Jack Stevens and Sergio Aguero to level it up in Sam versus Lee.
So Stevens and for Bertrand, you'd pretty much assume we're going to wipe each other out with their clean sheets. So it's all going to be on whether JWP and Firmino can outscore Son and Aguero.
Son and Aguero all day long, isn't it? Get in the comments below, guys. We want to hear your thoughts. Are you Team Sam or are you Team Lee with this one? Remind us of your 3. Finally, again, John Wright Phillips. Who's John Wright Phillips?
I don't know what to.
It's like Sean's older brother.
Also known as James Ward-Prowse. James Ward-Prowse.
I have no idea where John Wright Phillips is coming from. James Ward-Prowse,
This Gameweek
Firmino.
25 has been a bit too much for you, hasn't it?
It's been too much, yeah. Your rank, I'm just looking at you up there thinking the air must be thin up in the top 1k.
Yeah, strangely, it's you that's muddled. Firmino, James Ward-Prowse and Ryan Bertrand.
Very good. And I've got Hugh Minson, Jack Stevens and Aguero. Guys, get into the comments. Let us know whether you're Team Sam, Team Lee, and be very specific for next week's video. Sam has asked you to be very specific.
If you don't want me to pick two from the same club, then that has to be in the comments.
So thank you, Alexander Kavamli, for the
I really like this
players who have been at their clubs more than 3 seasons. I've enjoyed researching it. Get in the comments below. Go back to the beginning of the video. Let us know who in that top 10 is your favourite player. And we know that Harry Kane is yours, but there's some absolute veterans in there. I must
say that there were some really, really good theme suggestions for last week. So if we haven't used your theme suggestion for last week, stick it again in the comments for this one, because there were some brilliant ones in there. Like one of them was to just play our benches against each other.
Ooh,
and
nice.
I really liked that. I thought that was brilliant, because that's like,
sweet.
Yeah. So if you've got a great one that you've already commented but we haven't used it, please put it again in these comments so that we can have a chance to pull it out of the FPL Cup next
Last thing to say is this upcoming game week is actually the winter break game week, isn't it? So this Sam versus Lee is going to go across
2 weeks.
Those 2 calendar weeks, if you like. It's one single game week, but it's going to go across those 2 calendar weeks because, of course, the Premier League has decided to give everybody a bit of a winter break. Got, I think, 4 or 5 fixtures one week and then maybe 4 or 5 fixtures the following week. So this is a Sam versus Lee that's going to go across 2 calendar weeks. So a long time to wait to see me level it up in Sam versus Lee.
Or to see JWP smash you out the park.
What's his name? John Wright Phillips. Guys, get in the comments below. Hashtag Team Sam, hashtag Team Lee, hashtag Team John Wright Phillips. If anybody's hashtag John Wright Phillips. And we will see you next time for a Sam versus Lee. Leave us a like before you go. Hit that subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Bye, guys.